We start now. Good evening to everybody. On behalf of Philosophy family, it's a pleasure to extend you all a happy evening and welcome to all of you to be with us on this Sunday webinar. Friends, today we have invited a popular philosopher of the country, Madam Professor Amita Valmiki, the head Department of Arts, Science and Commerce, which is a very reputed college and affiliated to University of Mumbai. And Professor Valmiki is well known to philosophy family, and she's associated with us different academic sessions. And Dr. Valmiki already contributed a lot of articles to philosophy. She has been invited to different universities to contribute a philosophical wisdom with the students and the scholars of philosophy. For the entire year, she engages herself in different curricular and co-curricular activities relating philosophical activities and cultural activities. And uh, her engagement is a source of inspiration to all of us. Professor Valmiki have already contributed some articles to our philosophy, namely she has worked on philosophy and family and the ontology of feeling. She has contributed a talk on Murray Bookchin's social ecology, theistic existentialism, the concept of happiness, and many other articles that I do not want to explore all things. Our area of interest is mysticism, comparative religion, philosophy of religion, moral philosophy, and to her credit, many of her articles have been published in national and international journals. And I may take one example that see the return of the 100 years of Indian cinema issues and challenges. This is a very good book that everybody appreciates. That is in the philosophy. Bharati has a great passion towards mysticism and spiritual philosophy. So I do not want to explore all the things that she has, and she engages herself throughout the year on different uh, occasions. Today, Professor Valmiki will contribute a talk on is religion value neutral. Oh, it is a very debatable topic still then. For philosophical reflection will motivate us, inspire us, and engage us in dimensions of thought. So today, I extend my welcome to her. And with this, I welcome the senior philosophers of our country, like Professor Dr. Loktan sir, uh, Professor Ranjit Ghosh sir, Professor Vishnu Chaudhary sir, and Madam Dr. Reena, and all others that I do not want to names. So um, I cannot take names of all the philosophers and senior teachers that they are with us this Sunday. I extend a hearty welcome to all the viewers to be with us on this um, webinar. So today I welcome our admin, Professor Dr. Pramod Kumar Das, the main architect of philosophy family, and I welcome our moderator and co-admin, Dr. K. Omnar Rao, to be with us. With this, once again, I extend a hearty welcome to all of you and request Madam Professor Amita Valmiki to commence talk on this topic: is religion values neutral? Over to Madam.
Please unmute, madam. Please unmute. Namaskar. Please unmute, madam.
Yeah, I'm extremely thankful that you, first of all, invited me, and this invitation means a lot to me. Morana sir has given an extensive note about me. We are this family, so there is actually no requirement to introduce me. We know each other now so well since we are a family. And today I have taken up a little controversial topic. It's not that I'm talking about anti-religion or immorality or something that is not fitting into paradigmic ethics or morality. I am very religious personally, and I love religion because I see religion as value neutral. And it is a controversial topic, and I expect of criticism also because I want to explore religion more and more, since I'm very fascinated by two fields which are creation of human beings, and one is religion, the foremost in that, and second is cinema, that is films. I'm very thankful that Morana sir, Das sir, and Om Narayan sir, I mean Rao sir, you have been doing excellent. And I feel so trivial in front of you. Going on doing things for philosophy, just for knowledge, cup of tea. Also very thankful here always, and Reena is there, Bagadis is there. I'm extremely thankful to all friends. Thank the MA actually join. I'm born and brought up in a Vaishnavite family. This in our altar, we have morphic a sort of stream margin that a lot of puja and other things are regularly on the basis, it is done everyday basis. I took philosophy and I got intrigued more and more philosophically. And I found the other religions equally very intriguing, equally very fascinating. So, what is it all about? Why time immemorial, so many things have died out, civilizations have collapsed, but why religion has survived? And why it's surviving? This fascinated me. Of course, everybody is not viewing from that point of view, like in an absolute religious or spiritual form. People profited from religion. People think that they will get some knowledge out of it. But because of its unconditionality of religion, I think it has survived, like all other art forms and like science. So I think it is human creation, and through PPT I will show you that why it is human creation, and therefore it has to be kept like science and art value neutral. And probably this value neutrality, Rao sir, we have discussed this before also, as you know, that this value neutrality keeps it moral, makes it moral. This is my conclusion basically. So let us see what religion is all about. So is religion value neutral? So this is the topic. Let me start. see the slide now?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Now, Kabir said, I quote him, I searched for God for years and years and could not find him. Then I dropped the whole idea and became still and loving. Now I know the way. It is not in formalities, but in an informal friendliness with the existence. Quote, I have taken from Kierkegaard, who says, I quote him, people demand freedom of speech as a compensation for the freedom of thought, which they seldom use. Unquote. I quote here Whitaker, who emphasizes the importance of teaching religion from a neutral standpoint, advocating for critical inquiry that allows scholars to engage with religious phenomena without a bias. So what we find is history of religion becomes at this point very, very relevant. The above quotes that we just saw now, it seems to be clear that the realm of religion cannot be grasped through formal format. The real haunting question is religion value neutral? This demands a probe into the history of religion and urges a careful analysis of religious history. Just as Immanuel Kant has declared that thoughts without content are empty, perceptions without conceptions are blind, so says David Niall Edwards. So it is said that philosophy of religion without history is empty, and history of religion without philosophy is blind. Unquote. This quotation is taken from Niall Edwards' book himself. Let us probe into this. The primitive man was wonderstruck by events of nature. If the events of nature are helpful, they can be very devastating also. Human beings started wondering and tried to provide answer to these natural events. Consequence of primitive religion. In the initial stage in history of religion, we have polydemonism, that is worship of spirits, which you can see over here, this part. Then we have zoomorphism, that is worship of partial animal and partial human being, or full animal worship. This gave, then we have, of course, in the course of time, we have anthropomorphism, where human form was given to the entity of worship. And then we have a proper concept of in human forms, that is belief in many gods and goddesses. Then monotheism, one God, that is belief in one God. And the highest philosophical development, highest one is said to be monism, the one absolute. According to Max Muller, between polytheism, many gods, and monotheism, we have one more stage, that is henotheism. And this is adherence to one particular god out of several, especially by a family, tribe, or other group, which usually happens in each and so that is it. And whatever possible explanation man could provide in crude philosophical format were myth, mythology, mysticism, and religion, expressed in form of symbols. Some is inherent, but from Paleolithic sites to Neolithic sites to religion in early, here you can see all the eras or ages, from Bronze Age to Iron Age, we find through some artifacts and reminiscences, one can deduce that in primitive form, religion existed. And it was more of a metaphysical quest trying to answer questions pertaining to events of nature and at the same time appeasing the spirits of dead and later the spirits of natural elements. gave rise to a host of rituals. These rituals were, until date, rituals in contemporary times remain value neutral. Now, what we find is they were either in praise of the spirits, who were always considered as guardians of a clan, and these spirits continue to be guardians to look after the clan. So, according to Sergei Tokore, one cannot be sure exactly for how and why of religion. The eschatology of religion played a major role in development of religion. The afterlife theories were highly intriguing and till date remain so. But nothing can be said with surety. Whatever we say that the oldest known scriptures are to be taken literally would be to commit a gravest mistake. Sometimes I say a gravest sin or crime, but I improved myself and became humble enough to write mistake. As Thackeray notes in his book History of Religion, which I often refer, the book is given here, I have my own copy. He writes archaeological material is particularly valuable because it can be dated and enables rough periodization. However, there are some disadvantages. First, this material is scarce and fragmentary. Second, it alone does not provide information to interpret its significance. So to interpret its significance, it is necessary to resort to suppositions and analogies. Analogies mainly come from our knowledge of the cultures of modern peoples, of their religious beliefs and rituals, that is, from anthropographic data, unquote. Just a second. Is it visible, the slides?
Yes, yes,
Yes,
yes.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Now, as it is admitted by Comte that religion embraces the whole of existence, and the history of religion resumes the entire history of human development. This is again a very, very, very shocking revelation. When I did my first time when I studied this book, I read this book by Edwards. It was really a good revelation to me. Spiritualism, theistic mysticism, and devotion are often associated with religion. Although they are often used interchangeably, they differ. But before we come to this point, it is very essential to elucidate the term religion. Most of us confront the word religion from the beginning of our life, and we structure some kind of definition of religion in our mind. It doesn't matter if a person is theist, atheist, or agnostic. Religion seems to be quite a simple word where one can say yes to it, no to it, or being indifferent to it. So we have some idea presumed in our mind. Let us unlearn this and start thinking as to what religion is not. Obviously, religion is not superstition. This is exclusively for me after my research in religion, and still it is incomplete, of course. Religion is not dogmatism. This I'm like talking one-to-one with Alok Tandon sir. Religion is not irrationality. It is not conventions to the extent that it stagnates human growth, retards spirituality, thwarts rationality. So then what it is? This is confirmed because all stalwart scientists, say Isaac Newton, Galileo Galilei, Nicholas Copernicus, Johannes Kepler, were mystics first, moved towards rational and scientific analysis. They were wonderstruck with the events of nature and space, whatever was happening. In the article Magic Through Millennia, the Renaissance and the Birth of Modern Physics, it is stated, I quote, by the middle of the 15th century, the wealth of Europe allowed the resurgence of interest in science, which was seen as an aid to trade and commerce. Much of the early ideas had been preserved by Islamic scholars. With the decline of Arab power in Europe, the torch of learning was passed on. Francis Bacon, that is here quoted from the book, believed that true knowledge of the natural world had to be based on unbiased observations by objective observers. He saw medieval crafts as important untapped sources of knowledge, the uncovering of which could lead to the conquest of nature for the advantage of mankind and the greater glory of God. Unquote. This is definitely the need for something that transcends. There is, of course, definitely a need to transcend something. And this untouched and full of string of the heart harp requires something that can transcend the whole of this earthly life, the worldly petty existence. That spiritual mystical realization is probably what the word religion means. The whole point is religion cannot survive years and years together if it were mere superstition, just orthodoxies, blindfold leading to dogmatism. It cannot be this, or for me, it is not this. So the point is, religion, therefore, is a creative aesthetics of human existence. De facto, it cannot be said as good or bad, right or wrong. It is something of non-cognitive like art and science. As the ontological position of religion is, it is. That is, it is just existing. It is what one can say, seeing a painting like Mona Lisa by Leonardo da Vinci or Amedeo Modigliani's, my favorite painter, Modigliani's portraits, is to experience. They are to be experienced and not cognized. These paintings are not to be fixated in the mold of morality, but are to be cherished for its own sake. The take on these artworks is like plunging in the world of intrinsic plethora of abundance. Religion resonates the same world of art and science that has to be valued neutrally, neither to be judged nor to be measured. Then, how religion connects to morality? Morality is a byproduct of religion, not a necessary product. It is just we tailor it according to our need and belief system. For instance, the concepts of Dharma Yuddha or Jihad. As Schopenhauer said, I quote him, religions are like glowworms. Before they can give light, it must be dark, unquote. No doubt, Schopenhauer did not approve of religion, which I do not. I approve of it, but he never approved of it. And he said, once natural sciences, history, and other rationality deduced subjects develop, so for other rationally reduced subjects develop, philosophy will replace religion. And he was of the strong opinion. So I repeat once again, he said, once natural sciences, history, and other rationally reduced subjects develop, philosophy will replace religion. Therefore, it is very important to interpret religion with the lens of considerateness. John Randall, as we have all studied in under our undergraduate level, his view on religious language is very important here. It becomes very relevant. I found him so relevant when even as a student, he was touching me. Randall conceives of religion as a human activity like other activities such as science and art. Just as these other activities make a contribution to man's culture, so also religion makes its own special contribution. The distinctive material with which religion works is a body of symbols and myths. Randall is of the opinion that what is important to recognize is that religious symbols belong with social and artistic symbols in the group of symbols that are both representative and non-cognitive. Such non-cognitive symbols can be said to symbolize not some external thing that can be indicated apart from their operation, but rather what they themselves do, their peculiar function. And according to my analysis on Randall, these functions, what I feel very much is that again they are again byproducts of religion, which may befit or unfit in the universal moral realm. The question is, are there such moral paradigms? Or are they conventional symbols and norms compatible to the region's geography, as we discussed last time in Nina Madam's paper, economy, political structure, or social ethos? Now, according to Randall, religious symbols have a fourfold function. Number one, as you have all studied this, I know. In the first place, and there are students also who would like to know, they arouse the emotion and stimulate us to action. They may strengthen human beings' practical commitment to what he or she believes to be right. Here, my observation is, therefore, subjectivity should not be ruled out. Secondly, they stimulate cooperative action, thus bind a community together through a common response to its symbols. Again, my observation is, this is not necessary, that it will always bind the community together. We can see within India, outside India, within Maharashtra as well. Thirdly, they are able to communicate qualities of experience. They may not be expressed by the ordinary literal use of language. And fourth, they help to clarify the nature of divine being in order to explain these functions. Randall gives an analogy. The works of the painter, musician, poets teach us how to use ears, eyes, mind, and our feelings with greater power and skill. It shows us how to discern unsuspected qualities in the world. It is the same with prophets and saints. They too are affecting changes in us and in our world. They teach us how to see God and what man's life is in the world and what it might be. They teach us to discern what human nature can make out of its natural condition and material. They enable us to see and feel religious dimensions of our world better. In just, you can say, they teach us how to find the divine. So, it is to be noted that Randall's position represents a radical departure from the traditional assumption of religion. Randall speaks of finding the divine. By this, Randall does not mean to imply that God or divine exists as a reality independently of the human mind. And this intrigued me. He's speaking symbolically. God is our ideal, our controlling value, our ultimate concern. God is an intellectual symbol for the religious dimension of the world. This means that religion and religious ideas are the product of human imagination. For this reason, religion constitutes an important aspect of human culture like arts and science. These products of human imagination are not external. They did not exist before human being existed, and they can persist as long as human being exists. This view, so Einstein says, all religions, arts, and sciences are branches of the same tree. So this view is quite, I love this image very much, taken from Wikipedia, of course. This is a god of geometer. And the combination of this science and teaching science through religion or religion through science, I usually like to segregate them. But this Bible Morale C, in a French way, it is said, I don't know the exact pronunciation of it, but it is like fables and Panchatantra Katha and stories with pictures, biblical stories with pictures, and lot of pictures, more than writing. And this was especially for people who are not so much philosophical, but for simple lay people who can understand religion in a proper manner. So we find that this view is quite different from the traditional view of religion. Randall's theory of religion and of the function of religious language expresses with great clarity the way of thinking that is widespread today and is characteristic of our culture. This way of thinking is emphasized the way in which the word religion has largely come to replace the word God. In context in which former questions were raised and debated concerning God, God's existence, God's attributes, etc., the corresponding question today typically concerned religion, its nature and function, its form and pragmatic value. A shift has taken place from the term God as the head of a certain group of words to the term religion as the new head of the same linguistic family. This idea confirms the view of religion as value neutral. A layperson is asked, in a given situation, what would you do? So here the answer can be found in the following quote. What will he answer? By Somerset Maugham, he says, I quote him, a man is more likely to be a good man if he has learned goodness through the love of God than through the perusal of Herbert Spencer, unquote. So we philosophy people still have to struggle a lot. Precisely counter to my point is what Richard Braithwaite, who believed that religious statements serve an ethical function. Just as ethical statements tell us what ought to be done, similarly, religious statements express the speaker's policy of action. Religious statements are in a sense of commitment, a commitment to a particular way of life. Braithwaite writes, just as the purpose of ethical statement is to express the speaker's adherence to a certain policy of action, similarly, religious statements express the intention of the speaker to act in a particular specific way to the assertion made. For example, when a statement describes God is love, it indicates the intention of a person to follow the agapistic. And of course, as we all know, that agapistic is to love everyone, way of life. Braithwaite next raises a question. When two religions recommend the same policy for living, in what sense are they different from each other? They are different in two ways, he says. One relating to the differences of rituals, and second relating to the differences in the set of stories or myths. Now, according to Braithwaite, differences of rituals are unimportant, but differences of stories are significant since these stories are associated with adherence to their way of life. So this part I like, and therefore I believe that morality, or ethics is byproduct of religion. Braithwaite maintains that it is not necessary that these stories must be true. This is it. Or even that they are believed to be true, but they are very influential. The connection between religious stories and religious way of life is a psychological one. It is true that many people find it easier to resolve upon a course of action if it is associated in their minds with certain stories. So when I suffer from a disease, I start thinking, why me? And then you say, oh, the theory of karma, or maybe you start reading religious books, and then you try to find answer from them. And especially if I'm not philosophically enlightened, or maybe I'm not philosophically alert, then for me these stories show the pathway and try to solve and subdue my depression. So, in short, Braithwaite states, I quote, a religious assertion for me is the policy subsumable under a sufficiently general principle to be a moral one, together with the implicit or explicit statements of certain stories. Braithwaite is wrong, according to me, that, and even Hick, of course, he is putting this, which I learned from John Hick, that religious statements express a person's intention to act in a certain way. People make a statement and behave contrary to it. For example, people say that they should speak truth, and yet they lie. Braithwaite seems to forget that people do tell lies, knowing what is right, people still act in a wrong way. Why we are not ready to accept then that religion is value neutral? Now, in the book Religion in Social Flux, Professor Dr. Alka Bakre, I was so fortunate that she was my teacher when I was student and teacher in sociology. And then she became head of the Department of Sanskrit in University of Mumbai, and a fantastic human being. Uh, Professor Bakre tries to satisfy our quest as to what is dharma. Religion seems to be a universal phenomenon that is social in nature, and human beings' response to it is that of wonder or ecstasy or reverence or something not this worldly. Again, religion is an anchor to life, both physiological and psychological, providing help while confronting the natural hazards. Thus, it is really difficult to eradicate religion completely. It has a special universality, and that cannot be tampered with. Once any ism, ideology, or theory aspires to do it, meets with great defeat, and so religions continue. It is psychological catharsis that happens through religion. This again is aptly my favorite person. This again is aptly stated by Devi Prasad Chattopadhyay, who writes, I quote him, all these account for the fact that no amount of philosophical criticisms could by themselves uproot the religious beliefs from the minds of the masses. I have my own copy of this book um, from long time. This is like a pothi for me, a scripture for me. And he says that all these account for the fact that no amount of philosophical criticisms could by themselves uproot the religious beliefs from the minds of the masses. And we all know what he was. Theology may add a certain amount of halo to religion, but not to sustain it. Philosophy can expose its inner inconsistencies and lack of logic, but cannot uproot it. It draws its nourishment from some concrete material conditions, which, as long as they are allowed to persist, will leave religion itself unaffected. Unquote. A brief look at few definitions of religion, excuse me. Yeah. A brief look at the few definitions of religion. The phenomenological definition, taken from concise Oxford Dictionary, claims that religion is human recognition of superhuman controlling power, and especially of a personal god or gods entitled to obedience and worship. Its psychological definition, where you can see from the varieties of religious experience by William James, with the image shows religion, in short, is a monumental chapter in the history of human egotism. So William James upholds that, I quote him again, the feelings, acts, and experiences of individual men in their solitude, so far as they apprehend themselves to stand in relation to whatever they may consider the divine, unquote. So the sociological definition by Talcott Parsons underlies it as, I quote, a set of beliefs, practices, and institutions that men have evolved in various societies, unquote. Solomon Reinach defines naturalistically, that is religion, as, I quote, a body of scruples which impede the free exercise of our faculties, unquote. Now, this definition is quite pessimistic in nature. Where you find Matthew Arnold claims that it is ethics heightened, enkindled, lit up by feeling. Now, this definition is quite optimistic in nature, and this is also too much. Arnold keeps the moral angle intact in religion, where Herbert Spencer notes that religion is the recognition that all things are manifestation of a power which transcends our knowledge. So while Hick terms it as humanity's response, John Hick says, humanity's response to the divine, unquote. But rather a set of family resemblance. In fact, we have the feeling that of diverse religions itself is something that is inevitable and ultimate truth. So Wittgenstein says, make sure that your religion is a matter between you and God only, which I always, the TY students may find it often heard, this particular. My favorite philosopher, In a similar way, notes that, I quote him, any book entitled on any religion, he says, must begin by breaking the bad news to the reader. Religion in the singular as just one thing in nowhere to be found. It is to be maddeningly polyvalent, friends, and too uncontainably diverse for us to. There are Western religions, Eastern religions, monotheistic, polytheistic, and even slightly atheistic religions too, many to account, and in too many languages to learn. I'm not or making excuses. Indeed, the uncontainable, a great religious truth, a mark what religion is all about. So Caputo says, a world without love, a world governed by rigid contracts and duties, a world in which the mark of really loving someone or something is unconditionality and commitment, fire and passion. I acknowledge here Professor Kanchana Mahadevan, who gave me this book, and most of my life is governed. So we interpret from a very broad. It is that spirit. Probably silence can speak more. This signifies the mystical aspect of religion. So I that ultimately I mysticism. To end with Soren Kierkegaard's view existence, the religious state accepted as it leads to a paradox, and therefore we have to choose to believe in something higher. Kierkegaard's first question, is there a theological suspension of the ethical? Kierkegaard defines, again I reiterate, the particular is higher than the universal. This paradox leads by virtue when he is commanded by Allah to sacrifice his son Isaac. Kierkegaard posits the existence of a religious plane that surpasses universal ethics, only accessible, who can, if called by God, reject universal ethics, relationship with God. This from Fear and Trembling, a book that is that 1843. Here I rest the references which I have images google.co in I, many URLs, and ultimately I sum up with a quote from which is one of the Caputo says in his religion is for lovers, for men and women passion, for real people with a passion for something, who believe in something, who hope like mad in something. Understanding. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks so much, madam.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Very thought, and it is also very conceptual. And today you have focused on, and today you have made your strong stand on each religion, and made it very clear that that you have been fascinated by religion from your family, and you have studied from the Cowboys quotation. Um, you have made presentation on history of religion, where a religion is not dogmatic, religion is not irrational, it is not, it is non-cognitive. How religion as a rational scientific analysis, the creative aesthetics of human existence, uh, philosophers, and you have made it very clear things that you have made in your talk. Now, congratulations for your very thought-provoking talk. Now, I would like to request Professor Dr. K. Umnan Rao to carry on the interactive session. Over to Dr. Rao. Over to Dr. Rao.
Namaskar, everybody. Thank you, talk, and also thank Dr. Well, to start with, argues for value. He argues for the case, and as he says, think of morality in religion only when value neutrality in religion. Well, it's a debatable topic. Dr. Ghosh, to start with, well, Sadri sir is also there, but to start with, Namaskar.
Hello, you, Dr. Rao. This question was whether religion is valid. The other day, I requested her to explore the religion. She has taken much pain to find out certain positions by which we can have an idea of what religion is. But in my question still remains. Religion should be value laden, the opposite of value ladenness. So we can talk about then we can say morality, that morality is a byproduct of religion. Man's encounter with spirituality, religion, that comes first. So in that way, the religious experience comes first before the moral. This is your reiteration that religious experience comes to his moral experience. His position, as you have said. Now, if that, I think the moral experience, which is social intercourse, and by moral view is either right or wrong, but we that about religious experience, because binds humanity to spirituality. So that spirituality is very important. Spirituality, whether it will be treated as any neutrality can be made if we take religion as something spiritual or spirituality.
Sorry, sir, I was offline. It just suddenly got switched off.
Okay. So what I that in case of we can you as you have mentioned, product of religion, and right or wrong, so
Yeah.
far as the but really it must
Yeah.
be. This is what you have taken the point.
No, I'm not saying it has to be there. That is what
No,
my position is. It may come to
Guru,
you, it may not come.
चाबी दे दूंगी.
Just a minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and you have mentioned about different that we are making
नहीं,
polytheism and all these isms.
नहीं,
But one,
no.
I am surprised that a omnism, OMNIS,
Yeah.
omnism, that the dharma, our dharma, and Hinduism is taken as the old, which is having this, but other religions do not have that, and that's why we find this understanding doesn't take place unless we take of Sanatan Dharma. So, and other things, if mind, I will tell you later. Thank you, madam.
Uh, uh, Sir, very because Jainism is, we find any other religion. Christianism, for example, one of the oldest known, it ran parallel, they say, and they have only bits and these things, and from that, and especially Hinduism becomes very stands on a very fragile ground, because we at that time it was all oral transmission, and as time passed, the oral transmission factors which we have discussed in earlier lectures, that talks that it is political, especially politics, that controls takes place, and social customs and conventions. So Sanatan word is very dubious, and have this concept, because, for example, even when it was even Islam proclaims that all the prophets, when they were not existing, even at that time they said it was there, and civilizations of Inca and Mayan and Babylonian and Mesopotamian, they very clearly claim, and in Colombia, the reminiscences of so many other, in some form or the other, in Mexico, for example. So this word is very dubious, and to say that I'm very fortunate that I'm Mumbai wala, that we are surrounded by all religious people in our vicinity, and everybody claims, and therefore it is my way of looking at religion, which it becomes, if you try to say that we are, we are Sanatani, then the problem is that, because each and every religious person belonging to different religions, now emphasize on that will make me dogmatic. So I say religion is not dogmatic. It is, this is, it is only the jazba or ehsas which you have to feel, and that in the Sufis, which is narrated, proclaimed, that is more than says very clearly that for the lovers have no distinction of any kind. Emphasizes that ethical stage also binds, doesn't allow you to take a flight of freedom. To have free speech, we will not have free thought afforded. So I think like you see a painting, or like you hear morality, it makes you so pure. Purity is devoid of moral structure. This is my point.
If you put religion like science, that our science is value neutral. In that case, if you are all other religions and you keep aside Buddhism, now Buddhism is a religion, and Buddhism can be treated as value neutral, because one word, that is karuna, that is there in Buddhism. In other religions, all other religions, Hinduism or not Hinduism, Islam or Zoroastrianism or Christian, then you don't find such a concept. Like, these are there in Christianity and Bible, and cannot claim. Is what I want to say.
Yeah, see, every religion has one dominant of that R. Therefore, I said history of religion is important, which John Hicks says has to be there. Otherwise, philosophy is empty. Like he says in Immanuel Kant's line, you don't do history. You see the history when you encyclopedias of civilizations, encyclopedia Fraser and Fraser. If it is so talking about different things, and on one particular, that will make me immoral. So why not just say that these are cherished? So my point is not value less. Value neutrality makes it value. Like Kierkegaard says, you have to learn religions with the meaning. Then there will be a logical argument, one who will be telling that you are wrong and the other is wrong. Each other. And when you make the religion value neutral, you don't have to prove. Participating in it is just cherishing the energy and glow which each other follow. Completely different from my view. And to tag religion as an atheistic or this and that, you have hundreds of isms. For example, in the world of and then romanticism, you have impressionism, expressionism, cubism, Dadaism, surrealism. You have so many. Era has been very. Start saying that cubism is more powerful would be approach. So you can say that it doesn't tell that something is lacking in here. Complete in themselves.
Neutrality Is it the
That is
paradox?
my point. That is my
Yeah, yeah.
point.
So all
My
right, all right.
point
Thank
is
you,
only
thank you.
that.
Thank you. Response. I'll come to you back, and well, we'll take Professor Sisad. Professor Sisadri, please.
Namaskar, everyone.
Thank you, sir, for being there,
Namaskar.
sir.
Yeah, I had to rush back, and it took time for me to connect due to some technical issues. But still, my camera is not on, but I look the same. All right.
I know
Anyway,
that, sir. I know that.
it was a very interesting talk, and they opened a new dimension for people who want to examine religion different point of view altogether. Reality, take a yardstick, and what the yardstick, which is good, which is not good. My personal approach to religion is one, it's an experience. Ghosh very well said it. You are here to experience certain thing, experience that. We have been, somebody likes dal bath, cook every day. But the fact is, how not satisfied, how happy you are enjoying that food. This experience is one of such kind, even though it's to our say be. That is number one. Now, whether we need a God or not is introducing the factor of utility. Is God merely a name, or is it a title, or a group of letters, set of values, or what we call a cultural framework to live a good a life service? I do not know whether in ancient times such, as I say, the history of religion remains the religion has divided people, and not the religion per se, but the people who practice the. Somewhere there are social distinctions, there are economic distinctions, and the have got one religion that acceptance has come about. Still, religion has become a vehicle, and unfortunately, used by the dirtiest of politicians. And that is the reason why religion has got a bad name. It is not because of religious, but people who emphasize instead of the philosophy that is there, the value behind that. Professor Alok Titan must be waiting to fire. It is not cognitive, and there is no. In that sense, yes, religion also cannot have logic, the point of which I cannot decide. But yes, there is something that tells me religion role to play. God is a different matter, because ultimately, what we want a life to everyone. Of this gift called life, grandparents, your ancestors, God, whether you thank nature. The fact is, we have got the opportunity to do good for others, and be a matter of convenience. People say God self realization and all that. Religion is the first step towards spirituality. Spiritual is towards a higher quality of life. That spirituality enables one. Everyone's is what makes religion meaningful. At different planes, it is spirituality. The and the quality of life others live, that I think will answer this question whether value neutral. Entirely value neutral. At the same time, it cannot be entirely value because each individual's experience differs and people have their own way of living. But something maybe not helping others. I think two religions come very close to this value in my personal experience, and the other is Buddhism. They have that value, humanity as a value. Yes. I will not call it a religion of like a humanity. Where does it say that Muslim? So long you believe in, but religion should be. That's my point. If it has no human face, that cannot be a religion.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Sisadri, for your because I see her on the stuck. Maybe she's disconnected. Well, I think
There is
yes.
some problem at my
Well, she's back. She's
yeah
back.
connected again and again. So I'm sorry, sir. Sheshadri sir, you want?
She got stuck again. I'll go to Dr. Tandon, but Professor Valmiki is not there. Then it makes no sense. So let's wait for half a minute or minute.
Me to respond. Sorry,
Yes, come back,
my
yeah.
point was that what you said is absolutely correct. My view, as I was neutral is value. That is my
Yes,
point.
I agree.
And we have to, if we want to survive as human, are not. If we want to survive of this
Yeah,
kind of act is important.
yeah.
Thank you.
Matter.
Yeah.
You may survive without food, but you cannot survive without a religion. Yeah. Thank you.
So much,
Thank
sir. Thank you.
you, and thank you, Professor Valmiki. Well, we'll move to Professor Dr. Well, sir, please, your views, your suggestions, your comments, and sir. Namaskar.
Uh,
Namaste,
Thank you
sir.
very much, Professor. I've been given this to speak. I think with an old ball. Previously, I used new balls. This is the old one. So now I must not new ball. I must uh, send some spinners. There may be some googlies also. Ma'am. so let me in a way left by Professor Seshadri and Professor Ghosh. Value neutral is itself. I think this type of position is of no use because it's not seen like this by 90.9% of the world. So this type of understanding which we used to have in the name of universal never take a practical shape. So this may be called a philosopher, no connection with the reality, utopian, idealistic, and not impractical. So the whole of the problem of religion is somehow or the other taking this position is position in this world of religious conflicts. And for that purpose, first we will accept. I want to say one thing. When you say the mystical experience, then this is my position, but that is apart. I would like to focus and ask you that unless and until we take religion as a total phenomena, uh, including mystical experience, we cannot have a full understanding of religion. Mystical experience is a very subjective experience. It is limited to very few people, and it may be occurring in all the religions, but it is neither can be validated nor can be transformed. So it has got very little effect on the masses, on the running of the world. But still, we find in the history of religion that religion has played a very powerful role in many pre-modern societies. It has not only given somewhat, it has worked against the rise of sciences. It has given support to superstitions, witches, and all these things we know. And all the rituals some rituals may be very, very much negative also. So the role played by religion in the society, in the social and political sphere, is the problem of religion today. And unless and until we address to that problem, the problem of religion with power, the association of religion with politics, that is more important than talking about the value neutrality of religion, which is itself very problematic. And I think even if we establish the value neutrality of the religion, it is not going to help us because, as you said, that it is like art, it is like science, then it becomes a very, very individualistic pursuit. And it is not seem very attractive to most of our religious people who go to mandirs, masjids, gurudwaras, and go for purpose. And what you said and what I want to say is uh, is why religion persists. And this is the question, that it is because of the existential crisis of human condition, which Buddha pointed out, which many existentialist thinkers point out. It is the death, it is the old age, it is the disease, it is the uncertainty of life. For that, we want to cope. And to cope, we create some sort of a psychological structure. And this structure of religion has lived in the human history. Humans have lived with it. It will continue and it will persist also. But we must be very much clear about its negative role, the role it has played throughout history. You have quoted many persons, but we must take into account Bertrand Russell, Wright, etc. Bertrand Russell wrote a very interesting article that what religion has done to humanity. Its balance sheet is all negative. When you talk about love, I think lovers has been very much attacked by the religious people in this country even. So
Sir,
religion has not only
yeah,
been against science, it has been also against love. And it has legitimized violence in many ways. Even the caste system is being
yeah, sir, can
legitimized
I start
by
now?
religion. And this whole idea, this whole myth of rebirth is also a part of religion, and religious belief, and it has led to a lot of exploitation. It has led to
Sir,
fatalism.
let me. Yes,
It
sir,
has
let
led
me.
to lot of. So I think some people, I must admit, some of my friends still not coming from your side, mystical side, coming from the political side, they talk about some sort of libertarian theology, which was developed in Latin America also, and they think
Absolutely.
in terms of liberation, liberating religion. But such happenings, I think, is taking too much credit and expecting too much out of religion in this world where conflict between, you can see in Israel, Hamas, and in the background Christianity also. So to think about religion in a way it may be okay for you, but for the purpose of the entire
Yes, sir.
humanity, this has
Shall we
got a
start
very
now?
little value. Thank you.
Yeah, can I speak now, sir? My
Ma'am,
point is,
can I?
please, Reena, save me from this.
I'm not saving as such at what
No,
I said.
this association, is it ethical or unethical? We must first decide. Because last time when Veena was speaking, you were defending her. Now
No,
you are
not
asking her
this.
to defend you.
It's me and Reena who just work hand in hand. Means I can't think myself without Reena.
It's
So
like a mutual understanding, so you can say that it is a ethical sharing which we do. There is no unethical thing.
we
Such a
often
life
talk
it is.
about
Yeah,
this. We both
we
do
have.
the same work. So yeah, Reena.
Yes, sir, what you said, no, like regarding Sanatan Dharma, I just want to say that the Sanatan Dharma itself, that we need to understand, it is an eternal order or it is an eternal duty that each person has to follow. Person belongs to whichever religion. And the concept of religion that we have learned or we have understood since childhood, or you can say that what we have learned as an academicians, that is the very the intricate part of the religion itself means that binding together, what Sheshadri sir has also stated. So we are coming together with religion. Then if we come together with the religion, then why need to be there a fight? So it gives us to reflect us. It gives us a chance to reflect why this is happening. That we always consider as a reflective morality. So naturally, religion is value neutral for that because it makes us to think. But if we are not thinking, then that is our problem. That we are not utilizing our intellect, which nature has given us. Because the entire thing which we have seen since the evolution period, like from we have like from amoeba, if the scientifically way we can go through, that we have now homo erectus. Who is erectus? It is homo sapiens sapiens. So now we are thinking being. Then why we are not thinking and why we are fighting? As you stated that religion is attached to politics. Who attached the religion to the politics? We as a human only attached to the religion to the politics. The caste system is there. Who made it? Nowhere in no scripture we come across that caste system is there. So naturally it is a man-made order. It is not an eternal order. In fact, when we consider as a dharma, dharayati iti dharma, that is upholding only righteous thing, then naturally is considered that yes, it need to be moral. That morality is there. That's only I want to say.
So ultimately, we sum up with the value neutrality as being valuable. Uh, sir, सर आपने बहुत ही अच्छा एक्सपोजिशन दिया. You are really, we look forward to you always. And it's not that we have a nexus that we try to save each other's soul, but it is only that since we think together, that therefore we were discussing this a lot. I want to just suggest to you that the problem is that how religion started. What was that which made people think on the line of religion? And this is something is it boils to morality, because you said that because human beings suffer from crisis. So when pure form of religion as we take, that is also I should not actually talk about. I should not even talk about this. The pure form by itself, it is the purity which exists. Don't label it with certain things. When you start labeling, now when you defend science, I, with help of logic, can always go against it and talk about it. Value neutrality will bring about unity in diversity. When you start judging, so when I spoke about Caputo's concept of lovers, lovers is without gender, lovers is without naming, rather lovers are without labels, lovers are without logic, and lovers are with absurd to understand, as Kierkegaard says. So this is the point. You structure it, you craft it when it is required. That is a different thing. But people, and as you said, there are very few people who think like you. It doesn't matter. There were very few people, very few. In fact, just his brother, Van Gogh's brother, who appreciated him initially. And if you read letters to Theo by Van Gogh, the book, and you realize that nobody understood him except his brother Theo. Nobody understood him. That doesn't make Van Gogh bad painter. And if you think usability, which is making it moral, then again it is problematic. I'm not talking about utilizing or using. And like last time when Rina presented the paper on Heidegger, he spoke about instrumentality. You are not supposed to be instrumental. You are supposed to be meditative. You have to reach. You always take help of instrumental, because that is, without that, how is life possible? If we don't frame certain moral laws which are structured by us for our convenience, and if we apply it, it is coming from religion or God's mouth, then it becomes very popular and people out of fear do. But I'm talking about fearlessness and love of God rather than, I feel very bad when people say, he's such a good person, he's such a good person, he's a God-fearing person. How can a person be good if he's fearing God? Once the fear is not there, the person will be God, have nothing goodness, no goodness. So say it is, I love God. And he's a God-loving person rather than saying God, fearing person. If fear makes you moral, then it is trying to be moral out of immorality. Because fear is something that is negative. And this is what I don't like about religion. When people talk religion in literal sense or maybe practical sense of the term, when they talk about usability of that, I don't use my husband or I don't use my son. They are individual people and I should appreciate you. I have completely 3 different people living in the same family who have, one is absolutely out of any kind of neither satanic nor religious nor nothing. My son, my husband is an atheist and I am into religion. But we all 3 accommodate each other so well because this neutrality has to be maintained. And when you see people without presupposition, like Husserl says in phenomenology, the first step, that you have to be presupposition less. So you should know what religion is not. And therefore, my paper was there. It was meant to be good. But I think my paper created some kind of that I'm quite satanic, that this is something very bad. But this happened with people. And only because few people believe in such kind of thing does not make it bad. There are people who will try to gradually understand this. I have to accept my another person who is following another religion, or maybe no religion, or anti-religion, or completely religion is out of the realm in their life. That is out of context. They don't refer only, like my son. But we share so much talk, and we enjoy each other's company. So my point is that if you keep these things out of a particular sphere, then you don't judge, and don't be judgmental, don't be opinionated. And majority is always a dicey thing. There are majority of Jews in Israel who may support one person. There are majority of Palestinians who may support one person. There are majority in Ukraine who support one person. There are majority who support in Russia one person. But majority can be very devastating. So this kind of approach, probably the way Karl Jaspers did, like the religion, with the way he explained, or Kierkegaard, the way he explained, or Rumi, the way he, Al Ghazali, or even Ibn Averroes, Ibn Rushd, Averroes, or Avicenna, the way they explained, I think we should probe into religion from that angle rather than labeling it in certain way. And it is not demonic. It is something which you should understand. It should be, something that has to be cherished. It is loved. It is so beautiful. And why can't we just see another person absolutely neutrally? Because already we have a certain halo behind us. And we look certain through this halo only, through that lens only. And if I have already assumptions about it, how am I going to cherish it? So only Theo appreciating Van Gogh, and later on the whole world started appreciating it after his death, not when he was surviving. So we are the people, you are there, others are there, who from their small, steps can create an impact. We don't need too many of Nelson Mandela's, or we don't require too many of Martin Luther King Jr. We have very few people, or Gandhi, or any other. We don't require too many of them. We have one, and we gradually it will start the movement. So I always say that let us uh, uh, we not judging anything. That is my, let us be not opinionated. That is my value neutrality.
Ma'am, can I say something?
Yeah, please.
Yes, when you said about the Mahatma Gandhi, it reminded me what he said, that religion is not what we will get after reading all scriptures. What he said like that. So naturally, if it is not getting after reading any scriptures, then what religion is exactly? That to gain money for that, that is also not there. So religion is something, what you said, that is realizing, understanding other heart. That is the love. Therefore, love and compassion can be the religion, and that is the need of the hour right now. When we think about that, we are always in the conflict due to the word religion. In fact, the word religion is not a conflicting one. We made it that it is a conflicting one. So it is our mindset that we need to change it. It is the judgmentality mode which we always go, that we why we are right now into the Hobbes era, when Hobbes says that everyone is against everyone. We are in fact not. In fact, we are right now for each other. We are that helping. What you gave the example of your son, that he may not like religion, but still you are sharing so many things. So there are so many people whom we accommodate. That accommodation is religion. According to me, I feel so. Thank you, ma'am, for a
Thank you.
wonderful topic.
Thank
Thank you,
you,
sir.
thank you, Dr. Rina. Well, listening to the professors, the entire lecture. Well,
I,
sir, we'll come back to sir. We'll come back to you, sir. I'll
oh,
come
yeah,
back
yeah.
in a short while. So, listening to especially Dr. Ghosh and others, Alok Tandon also, the positions are bit divided. Well, still, Amita Valmiki, madam, she is comfortable. Let she be in the minority. That doesn't bother her. Okay, so she takes religion in a different aspect, where she sees religion to be defense where value neutrality is. That will see believes and see accepts that religions, each of the religions have a different history, they have different stories, they have different narrations, and the beginnings are also different. The cultures, the patterns, the behaviors, attitudes, they differ. But in spite of all this, the value neutrality see defends the case by maybe by having a strong belief that when I say the claims that I make in my own religion are true, at the same time I do accept that the claims that are being made in other religions are equally true. So that may bring religions to a platform of, say, mutual understanding. Even within the same religion we have deviations, we have variations. It is only when the wavelengths, the amplitudes, the frequencies, they coincide, it is only then we can talk of a sort of value neutrality. Otherwise, well, she admits it is possible, because when he talks of religion, he talks of unconditionality. Okay, she talks of a value that may be individual. You may carry a value that you see that to be purely individualistic, but at the same time, your value is not going to hurt or hamper the value system somebody other carries. So the value neutrality, what she asserts is that it doesn't mean that something, a religion has no value. It has a value. You have a certain value, but your value system is not going to hamper or hurt the sentiments of a value system of somebody other within the same religion or between religions. If that is the claim, maybe we can think of a sort of value neutrality within a religion and in between religions. And for that, the wavelength, the frequency, the amplitudes of people should coincide. But is that possible? Well, we may see a possibility, and she defends her case and says she is not affected, she is not hurt, even though she is in the minority of people believing in such a coincidence of wavelength and frequency. But still, she believes that that is the true aspect of religion, and maybe so that is the true interpretation of religion that we fail to understand because we keep religion, in the name of religion, we keep ourselves divided rather than understanding our true essence as human spirits. So this is what I see from her stand, and I feel satisfied with her stand. But when we look into the external aspects, we lay divided. But the problem is we don't come into a sort of coincidence, because the source from which we have come and the source to which we have to go, it is one and the same, but the paths that we take are different. So understanding to this point will bring in a sort of neutrality when the question of value and when the question of value comes. Well, this is my submission to the entire discussion that followed. Well,
Yes,
Dr.
sir.
Rao,
Yes, sir.
Dr. Rao,
yes, sir.
just
Yes.
invite the pertinent questions. Okay, very
Ha
briefly.
ha ha ha. Because it is time. It
Yes.
is already 8:15.
Yes. Because
Eight
yes.
fifteen. Well, Doctor Ghosh wanted to say something. Yeah, sir,
Yeah,
please.
only
Very brief. Very
very
brief.
short
Doctor Ghosh.
remark I want to make is this, that so far Dr. Balmiki has given her presentation. From her presentation, we can get this point that from the artistic and phenomenological point of view, religion is value neutral. We can take the case of love and any other artistic concepts. But so far as social and political ramifications are there, as Dr. Tandon said, religion can never be value neutral. We can take one example that we these days we don't find much discussion on love, the platonic love or any other form of love, but we discuss love jihad. So that is how the social and political ramifications become more important, and it makes religion as not value neutral. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ghosh. Well,
Fantastic.
Well, Dr. Pramod wanted to say something, sir. Namaskar, sir. Plus, sir, your question, sir. Please, your question, because we have.
Yeah. Namaskar, sir. I'm sorry I could not come to the conference a number of times because of busy so many activities. And today I'm quite happy to hear the talk on religion. As far as my knowledge is concerned, well, I'm not a philosopher, I'm a man of physics. I can say that there is no, as per scriptures, as per Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatamu, there was no concept of religion in the books at all. This what we have people, humans have created the concept of religion. There is only God and demons. That's all. And we people have created the gurus. I become a guru, everybody should follow my way, my thing. That's what religion concept has come. It's based on the Rajaguna, Sattva-guna, Tamoguna actually. In fact, everyone has to follow same thing. We are the spiritual beings. We have to one day go to spiritual about itself. That's called concept of Vasudeva Kutumbam. We people have created the concept of religion and we are facing the problems actually. In fact, there are different approaches, but finally one has to go to the same point. And if I do puja, it's not necessary everybody should follow that one. There may be different angles. But one thing is that if I follow one way, I should not harm anybody. I should not distract anybody. If I'm Indian, I should be like Indian. If I'm Rome, I should be like a Romanian. That concept should come actually. I cannot say don't go to masjid. Go to the masjid, but don't harm me. I don't harm you also. The conflicts have come between us actually. You can believe anybody. Finally, only God. God is one. We have to go to Supreme Abode only. We are spiritual beings. We are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. That's all. All demigods are there. He's a one person. So the religion concept we people have created, the concept, the problems have come in the world. For that whole world is looking for India now. And India is open to the world. World is open to the talking the concept of Vasudeva Kutumbam. If that concept comes, these problems will solve, sir. And that's what I would like to say, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Pramod.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Well, may I invite Dr. Vishnu Chaudhary, sir? Is he there? No, he's not there. Well, Radhanath Behra, sir, please. He's there. No, he's also not there. He's there. Well, Dr. Behra. Dr. Radhanath Behra, sir. Well, he's there. Yes, sir. Please, sir. Please unmute, sir. Please unmute. Namaskar, sir. Please, sir.
Just a minute, please. Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Please, sir. Continue, sir. Please, sir.
I'm sorry I couldn't listen to Professor Valmiki fully because I was traveling. Back home, I'm troubled because of the series of questions leveled against or for religion and morality. Morality, I suppose, is a code of conduct or a set of rules framed by ourselves to confine ourselves from, say, digression or from uh, unruly behavior in our lifestyle. Now, religion, when it was particularly when philosophers talk about religion, they pointed out when Christianity was at the peak, there were laxity on the part of the adherents, particularly the moral values. There were lapses that gave rise to debauchery, that gave rise to theft, also to drunkenness, and so on and so forth. So, in that sense, how to help ourselves? Shall we snatch some moments from religion and rectify our morals, or are morals particularly relevant to creation of religion? So, Madam, please clarify if morals are indeed responsible for our laxity, or can we improve ourselves by adhering to a particular form which you call religion with a God inside it? Madam, please clarify.
I think let us not be taking religion as crutches for moral life. Morality stands on itself. Morality doesn't require anybody's, and again, how do you define morality? That is the major problem. What do you consider moral in India is not considered moral we are not talking about universal paradigms. I'm not talking about moral paradigms. I'm talking about working morals. So how would you define morality? So it depends on the region to region. For example, if you step on certain things, for example, in India we always say it's creation of God because we are very pantheistic, and especially books, for example, हमारा पैर लग जाता है उसे. So we always say sorry, forgive, God, मेरा पैर लग गया, because for us knowledge is like God is Saraswati. But you find that people in Europe, if the book is lying on the floor, they will move aside by their foot, and they say it's nothing, it's lifeless. So what is moral and what is not moral also depends on region to region. And also, as I was telling you, that there are certain virtues very dominating in particular religion, and in other religion certain other. So my point is that let us keep morality separate from that. As I told you, morality automatically comes as a byproduct. That is no issue at all, and that is what I have learned from my family, that I embrace all religions, and I find whatever is good, I take that, and whatever doesn't fit to my reason from Alok Tandon sir's point of view, I discard it. And therefore, let us keep it away from that. Morality stands on its own feet. It doesn't require anybody, any entity. But since for a commoner, if you want to explain, then you take up stories from Bible, you take up stories from Puran, Bhagavad Puran, you will take stories from Ramayana and Mahabharata to explain. And when you say if gods were doing this, then why shouldn't I also? And this way of teaching children also morality, for me, is highly hazardous. Because once they do not believe in God, then they may take up an absolutely inhuman, monstrous form. And this is what is happening. And how they are, see, for example, what is happening all over the world in the name of religion. It is only in the name of religion that is happening. So let us saying that we are dominating the others. And no, this is our place because our God has made a contract with us. This hurts. And this doesn't give you permission to kill anyone. And in the name of having peace, for example, sir is already there, a physicist, and he says, you know very well, in the name of maintaining peace, we have atom bombs. So we want to maintain peace, and therefore this kind of contradiction doesn't work at all in moral realm. So I remember Mahatma Gandhi never spoke about weapons and army and military. This is requirement, of course, but giving utmost importance to that, like the way, in the world, most of the countries are doing that, hoarding weapons. What is this? Are we? So we learn from religion things, but we don't depend on. And when you say dharma yuddha, people take it literally. When you talk about jihad, people take it literally. This is why I'm saying let us keep it value neutral, not making jihad and as an external thing. Let us take it as an internal war. It is not something outside. And let us not take dharma yuddha in that form. So everywhere we are doing this dharma yuddha. I think what is that? This cannot be. So we find that documentary filmmakers, writers, they are all coming to one point that let us keep this apart. And therefore, many youngsters who talk about morality have become atheist and are not cherishing religion in its own form. This is my point. And therefore, why to make people? It is a form of art. It is beautiful. When it started, it was so nice when it was just cherishing uh, the way it is, that when there were haunting questions people had, that why it is raining, why there is sunshine, why there are deluge, why there are floods, over rain is bad, there is under raining is bad. So these were the questions haunting them. And I gave you example, and you must read this History of Religion by Tokarev, and he writes all these things, that how it developed. So it was giving answer to these events of nature. And when you do that, it should not be attached that they were 100% right or they were wrong. No, I don't believe in this. They were just trying to answer, and let us cherish from that point of view. As I told you, it is a byproduct. Morality as such comes out of it to make a common man understand that you follow this. But that has taken a monstrous um, form, which I don't accept. And so I just cherish religion by itself without any attachments, without any labels or
Thank
forms.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Professor Rao, may I
Sir,
put
sir,
some
sir,
very
coming back, sir, coming back to you, sir.
small observation, very small.
Sir,
May I?
sir, coming back to you, sir, in a minute, sir, or you have your observation, sir. Then I'll okay, have your
Okay.
observation.
I have one or two points to ask. Can we take, number one, belief in God as presupposition less?
That is up to you, sir.
I think one thing. Let
Yeah.
me complete. Second one is, when you say religion is like art, art has got aesthetic value. Then religion has also got aesthetic value. It
Absolutely.
cannot be value neutral. And one
Yeah,
thing, you can only say that this is valuable, this has got value, but it has got no moral value. You must
that
make a
is what
distinction
my
between
point is.
aesthetic and moral value.
That
So
is my
then
point,
your
sir.
position will be a bit different from value neutrality. It will be valuable, it will be aesthetically valuable, not morally valuable. You must
No.
make a
It is no,
clarification.
sir. It is
And let me
morally
complete.
valuable as well. One
No, but
also.
morally valuable, you say it is a byproduct. Morality is the byproduct. Then it
Yeah.
again becomes very problematic because this byproduct is something, in your opinion, it is not directly related to it. But in our opinion, it is directly related to it when you say that religious experience is very valuable. It is the highest value. Then morality coming from that is also not the byproduct, it becomes the direct product. But again, now
But sir,
again a point
one minute,
comes
sir.
to
1 minute, sir. 1 minute.
no,
1 minute. Just a minute, because then otherwise I forget to answer you. I'm not saying it is of highest value. I never said that. Religion is not a highest value. For me, it is not. I'm highly religious, but I'm not a highest value. There are many values for me.
but the religious experience, that is
No,
a mystical experience which
no,
you
that is not
cherish.
a highest value, sir. There are
And
so
this
many other
Oh,
things
okay. If
also.
it is not a highest value, it is one of the primary values of life, and this makes it valuable. This makes it value laden. It cannot be value neutral, and it brings within itself some sort of morality. Leave it. Now the question of history of religion also comes when you say that religion was there to explain the events of nature. Okay, it is historically true, but it has failed in that thing, and science has taken over. So religion has got no place in explaining the workings of the external world. So from that domain, it has been kicked out by the science. So the religion has got very little space, social as well as personal. What it has in social, you are seeing, and what it has got in personal, it is some sort of an escape from the vulnerability and uncertainties of the life. Thank you.
Sir, I don't care at all if religion is kicked out by someone, by science. I don't care. I don't care for that. kicked out so often by many people from their lives. Yeah, it doesn't matter to me at present, because I am I, and this moment I want to live.
That is a strong word. The point is that religion has got no role to play in explaining the structures of the
No,
outer
sir,
world.
this is
So
major.
that is already
This is
has
the
taken over by the
supposition.
side. That is the thing.
No, this is the supposition you are making. Presupposition that you have.
No, this is the historical
In
experience. This
fact,
is not the
sir,
presupposition. This
let
is the
me
historical
no,
experience.
sir, no, sir, no, sir. I don't agree with you in this point. I feel that they created the pathway for the scientists to come. They created a pathway. They at least opened up a pathway that you think about nature's event. We gave it like this because they did not have
They put Galileo into prison.
extraordinary instruments.
They burnt many scientists, and Copernicus was never
That is
accepted,
why.
and Darwin theory is still not accepted by them. So how can you say they created a pathway for science?
Sir, don't you know Joan of Arc was burnt alive at the age of 19 or 21, something like that. She was burnt alive. She is considered the great saint in the world. Joan of Arc is one of the examples that you have. What happened to John of the Cross? What happened to Teresa of Avila? Now, all these master saints who were religious completely, what happened to them? So it is not only scientists who were burnt and killed, but there were great religious men who were killed at the same time. And this is why I'm saying, let us not have presuppositions about anything, and let us not have drastic position. My point is that.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, Dr. Tandon. Well, two different oppositions. Well, the position that I take is, well, if we go with Dr. Valmiki, then value neutrality in religion, it will come to fore when we take religion in its true essence, when we elevate to the mystical fold or a sort of spiritual fold, where we recognize that we are spirits first. We are not human beings with blood and flesh, we are spirits. It is only then we can think of religion as neutral. But as Dr. Valmiki says, that even morality is a byproduct of religion. Morality is a byproduct of the spiritual nature that we have. That means the morality works in the world that we live, in the society where we live. So morality is the byproduct. And there, when morality is in the crossroads, when morality is put to test, we commit variations, we commit contradictions, we commit problems. But we as spirits, not human beings, we as spirits are one. We as spirits are not divided. We as spirits are from the same source. We as spirits move to the same source. So there no sort of value can be attached. And that is the true essence of religion. And that is the right understanding of religion, what Professor Valmiki submits. But it is only when we look the byproduct of religion, the morality part of religion, and how you make use of morality in your own context, in your own situation, in your own culture, that variations come in, and that brings to tussle, that brings to challenges, that looks our lives at contradictions. So the understanding is very clear. We have two opinions, and both the positions can be defended in their own lights. And Dr. Valmiki takes a position where religion is understood in the true sense, in the inner sense, in the mystical sense, where there is no division, where there is all purity, where there is no conditionality attached. When we talk of love, it is love as such. It is not love for something, or it's any conditionality is not attached. So that sort of religion that Professor Valmiki is talking, and in that form of religion, we can talk of religion as being neutral. It is only when we come towards morality, then the tussles begin, and contradictions arise. This is how I understand. Thank you, Dr. Tandon. Also, you also wrote the beautiful questions, and also Dr. Valmiki, you also took a very good stand. Well, Dr. Das, yes. Now, no, you please. Well, anybody, Dr. Behera want to say something? Well, sir, please, sir. Yes, sir. Then we'll move to Dr. Das. Dr. Behera, you wanted to say something? Radhanath Behera, sir. Or anybody? Well, there are many. Well, anybody has?
There is, sir. There is Professor Amit Hatangadi.
Yes, please,
would
sir.
he like to say something?
Yes, Professor Amit Hatangadi, please.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, ma'am. Uh, it was a wonderful take on religious neutrality. I do understand, and also would like to agree with Dr. Amita Valmiki, ma'am, as well, how to look at religious perspective. She talked about this lens that we have and how we look at things and religion. And if we have to look at, and as she said, if we are fortunate enough to live in Mumbai and to get that religious perspective and have a practical experience of the same. And I believe that we should also have that kind of approach towards approaching religion for that matter, so that we can actually understand how to look at things from a very clear perspective. So yeah, that's the only thing I want to say. There are so many things critically I have to examine, because there's so many points that ma'am has mentioned and I have to really think about it. So thank you so much, ma'am, for this wonderful lecture.
Thank you, Amit, for being there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you. Thank you. Doctor, talking anything? Well. Sir, please, sir, please. Anyway, excuse me. Yes. Please, let us later. Dr. Das, Professor Das, you have your observations. Namaskar, sir. Please.
Yes, yes. Am I audible, sir?
Sir,
Not visible, but in the dark today.
Yes, and I'm on the balcony because there is network problem. So outside, the backside of me, there is open space. Therefore, it is dark.
That is really
Okay, I am audible or not?
audible, sir. Audible and visible both.
Okay, okay. Very nice presentation made by Professor Valmiki, and discussion was also very effective. When Professor Valmiki is saying about value neutral, that should not be understood as value denial. That should be understood as value transcendental. I think in this sentence, the entire talk will be understood. Value transcendental means we are neutral. We are neutral. You forget about value neutrality. We are neutral about the values prescribed by religions. We have no problem with the values prescribed by different religions. Because there are many religions, we are talking about value neutrality. Suppose we would have one religion, therefore religion is not dharma. When we talk about dharma, we cannot say that dharma is value neutral. When we are talking about religion, such question takes place. Because who will obey whom? This is the question. Suppose there are some values prescribed in Christianity, I shall not obey because I am a Hindu. Muslims will not obey other religions. But that does not mean we shall quarrel. That does not mean we shall negate any religion. We shall disrespect any religion. So value neutrality does not mean value denial or value negation, or it is not agnostic by nature that I don't know the value of any religion. I know very well. I am aware of the values of different religions. Therefore, I am neutral. Neutrality is a mindset. Therefore, the religion of a wife may differ from the religion of a husband. The wife may be a vegetarian and the husband may be non-vegetarian. The wife may be a theist and the husband may be an atheist. But they can live together. Similarly, all people of different religions can live together. Family is an example. If one family husband, wife, and child belonging to three religions can live together without having any value conflict. Similarly, all religions can live together, and it is also in fact that there are many religions, especially in our country. There is no problem. Okay, rituals are different, no problem. So why such question takes place? Because we should understand the difference between religion and morality. Religion is a belief system. Ethics is not a belief system. You are bound to be ethical. Otherwise, society will not accept you. Otherwise, you will have your bad personality. Otherwise, you will get your result. If you will be unethical, then you will suffer from that. But there is no suffering in religion. This is personal. I believe to be a Hindu, therefore I am a Hindu. Anytime I can be converted, I can change my religion. But I cannot change the ethics. Ethics is cardinal. Customary values may differ, but the cardinal values do not change. So, in that sense, ethics are universal. Ethics should be universal. If we mean any value as ethical, that should be universal. As Immanuel Kant said, it is categorical imperative. It is not conditioned to any religion. It is not conditioned to any politics. It is not conditioned to anything else. Ethics should be categorical by nature, and ethics should be universal by nature. And religion is nothing but the postulate of morality. Religion helps as the postulate of morality, that it is not, we should not take it in the sense of pure religion. We should not take, we should understand this much. We have a personal zone. We live according to that personal zone. Personal zone means the personal zone of wife is different from the personal zone of husband. We have to understand, we have to compromise this. This is the fact of life. Rigidity will not work here. Science is good. Science has its own merit. We all respect science. Our knowledge should be scientific. Our approach should be scientific. So that is no problem at all. We have no conflict with science. But at the end of the day, in my personal life means even apart from my wife and child. Personal means I myself, as an individual, I shall live with my belief. I shall live with my belief system. So if value neutrality will not be there, then we shall be bound to accept the act of violence that is treated as the ethics of many religions. But violence is not a religion. Is not an ethics. Similarly, there are many religions only based upon ethics. They don't believe in God. For example, Jainism, Buddhism, there are other systems. They don't believe in God, but they believe in ethics. They believe in morality. So, this is a new outlook. I shall say that by saying this, we are saying that religion has no claim. Religion has no claim. We should not claim our religion, or we should not superimpose our religion over others. This should be very much clear. Therefore, there are two approaches. If you take religion as something supreme, something universal, something mystical, in that sense, it is value neutral. It is value transcendental, because there is no ethics at all. And if you take religion in the pragmatic sense, as Randall's viewed, as Werthwaite views, as Sigmund Freud viewed, as William James viewed, that sometimes religion works like a symbol, sometimes religion works like only the function of language. Sometimes religion works like ethical functions, normative sense. In that sense, if we take religion, that is also value neutral. You see, consider the two extreme points. You take religion as something mystical, metaphysical, universal, then it is value neutral. If you take religion in the pragmatic sense, in the contextual sense, then it is also value neutral. So that means we do not condemn value here. Rather we are giving a very special space to morality. That morality should be religion neutral. Morality should be religion neutral. And
Absolutely, absolutely.
morality is religion neutral. Therefore, religion is value neutral. Very logical. Morality should be religion neutral. Should be, what is should be? It is because ethics varies from religion to religion. So morality should have its own status. Morality should be categorically either categorically imperative or contextual. In either way you understand morality, religion should not interfere. Suppose you talk about applied ethics or contextual ethics, religion should not interfere. If you take ethics as a categorical imperative, unconditional, then also religion should not interfere. Because morality has its own stand. Therefore, in Indian culture, morality itself is dharma. So, in that context, we cannot say that dharma is value neutral. And so far as the religion is concerned, it is our pocket money. I am a Hindu by my choice. Overnight, I shall become a Muslim. I shall become a Christian. This is my choice. But ethics is not a choice. I shall respect my elders. I shall take care of my parents. I shall take care of I shall not be a desodrohi. I shall not be disloyal. These are the common values, irrespective of our religious beliefs. You may be a Muslim, or you may be a Christian, or you may be a Hindu. You cannot be immoral. So we should not compare. So here, why we are discussing this topic? Only because we take some values to be granted according to one religion, number one. Then we think that this value is more valuable, number two. And then we superimpose this value over others, and that leads to religious conflict. If we take religion as a value neutral, because that means value neutral means we are separating religion from the highest paradigm of value. Value has its own platform. Religion is very I shall think a very inferior platform. It is my personal choice. It is my choice may not be approved by others. But my ethics is the universal ethics because I live with you, all of you. I am a social being. I am a social being. I can't have my personal ethics. Yes, personal ethics will work so far as the context is concerned and we understand what it is. Thank you. I appreciate Professor Valmiki, and also I appreciate Alok Tandonji, who is claiming about scientific outlook. Yes, scientific outlook is 100% correct. We should have a scientific approach to our life, scientific approach to everything. That we should be critical also, but we should not be condemned by our criticism. Because the ultimate goal of life is to live with a peaceful mind. At the end of the day, we should attain peace, and that will come from a neutral mindset. So when we say religion is more value neutral or morality is religion neutral, it comes from the neutral understanding of human mind. Therefore, Professor Valmiki very beautifully said that our mind should not be dogmatic. Because from a dogmatic mind, what about this Immanuel Kant rejected great philosophers like Descartes, Spinoza, Leibniz, and in this group, Locke, Berkeley, Hume, great philosophers because they were dogmatic at their standpoint. Descartes, Spinoza, Leibniz were rationally dogmatic, dogmatism of rationalism, and Locke, Berkeley, Hume were dogmatic of too much empirical scientific approach. So either way, we should be dogma free, and a dogma free mind is a neutral mind. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Exactly.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Das, for your observations. Well, two things come to my mind to conclude with. Two things. First, can we talk of religion without having a society? No, of course not. Maybe not. Okay, so we talk of religion when there is a society. So, can't we take society itself as religion? And man is none but God. There is a total value neutrality maintained. Religion is nothing but society, and God is none but man himself or the creatures out there in the world. So that bring in a sort of value neutrality, number one. Number two, I just quote the line from Guru Gaur Gopal Das from his book Life's Amazing Secrets, where he says, we are not human beings with spiritual experiences. Rather, we are spiritual beings with human experiences. We are spiritual beings with human experiences. If we are spiritual beings, there is a total value neutrality. It is only when we claim that we are human beings, we claim for some value. Okay, so the point remains whether we recognize ourselves as spirits or we recognize ourselves as human beings. It is up to us. If we recognize ourselves as spirits, there is total value neutrality, and as human beings, just having, say, spiritual experiences or religious experiences, we come up with differences, and we associate some value or the other, and there lies some problem. So this is my submission. Madam, over to Dr. Maharana for proposing a vote of thanks. You can have your own views and have the vote of thanks. Sir.
Okay, thanks so much, Dr. Rao. So, for a long time, I was listening to the observations and comments made by our learning participants with Professor Amita Valmiki, madam. And I extend my gratitude to Professor Valmiki for her way of presentation. And what I found that Professor Valmiki's talk is very rational and very scientific. That is from different point of view. And Professor Valmiki's talk is very objective, and his objectivity is from the deep understanding of the religion and the conceptual analysis that she has given. And I find a critical analysis of the religion from her talk. And I also, when the participant like Professor Bose and others were discussing that value neutral is itself a kind of value that people strive to achieve. Okay, it is also there. So it should not be to rule out. And I was listening to the views of Dr. Ghosh, Dr. Sesadri, Dr. Tonden, Dr. Rinamay, Dr. Domandel, Dr. Behera, Dr. Amita Valmiki, and Professor Rao and Professor Das. Okay? So all the observations, they have their own stand, and they put a great value to this topic. So I extend my gratitude to them on behalf of philosophy family. But when I was listening to the debates, I was also listening to the debate made between Professor Das and Professor Rao. I found that why this kind of misunderstanding comes, and all kinds of misunderstanding and dispute uh, that in thoughts comes due to the misunderstanding of the logic of language, the logic of a religious language. And if the people do have the clarity regarding the logic of a religious language, then the concept, then there would be no dispute and dispute and said to be any confusion among people in the name of religion. And in this world, all kinds of dispute, misunderstanding in the religion comes or is created due to the conceptual analysis because they have no proper understanding on the religion. An example that is a religious man always speaks the truth and never works for the personal gain. It's value neutral. A true religious man, and a true religious man may suffer at the hands of others. And in this context, he said that God is there. He sees God. He sees God that is in a universal manner, and one day that is he can that he can see that what God does, He does for the betterment of the society. So, in this context, the use of such religious language is legitimate, it's very consistent, relevant, it's value neutral. So the purpose of this kind of language is to encourage the religious man to pursue truth and not to give up the ideal. So the purpose of that is a philosopher, the purpose of the religious man is not to report about the actual divine existence. So all kinds of misunderstanding and disputes in religion between all the debates between theist and atheist, they are due to misunderstanding of the logic of religious language. And if we come to the religion, then we can see that the philosopher's job is not discovering the moral ideas of a group of the persons. It may come within the domain of psychology or anthropology or like that. But the moral philosophy aims at studying the structure of ethical arguments. The philosophers, we study the logic of ethical terms like good or bad, right or wrong, vice or virtue, etc. But the moral philosophers, they have their neutral stand on it. The moral philosopher analyzes the moral concept and studies the logic of moral statements. So, on this ground, that religion is value neutral. A true religious man, that is a value neutral person. And when we have a different stand, when we argue with each other, okay, we think that there lies a set of, that is a and that is a sort of confusion with us. That is, we do not have proper understanding of the religious concepts. So the philosopher of religion studies the proper understanding or the critical analysis of the religious concepts. So if we do have the that is critical analysis of religious concepts, then all kinds of misunderstanding will go out. So this is my observation. This is my view. I don't want to that is have the reflective thought uh, uh, on Amita madam. So in this way, philosophy is meta-ethical. So philosophy is meta-ethical. I do not want to talk on things, and that is there should the philosophers should use the legitimate employment of the language so that all kinds of confusion will go out. So I must extend my gratitude to all the learned participants to be with us and to have their own observation on this issue. And Madam Valmiki, that is from the first time, had said that the confusion will come, the debate will come, and the comments will come. Okay, in this language because that is on this issue, because this issue is a never-ending debate. It will come. So many debates will come. And it is a very good sign of the philosophers to discuss on this topic and to have their observation and their ethical stand or moral stand on that. And that is all the stands are very clear, very clear. I was listening to the stand of Dr. Rao. I was listening to the stand of Dr. Das. Okay, they have the good standing. They have their own way of looking at the thing. So I, on behalf of Philosophy Family, I extend my gratitude to all the learning participants to have their own observation, comments. I extend my gratitude to Amita Valmiki. We always learn from her. We are all benefited by her talk and new way of understanding, new way of looking at the that philosophical discussion. Now, with this, once again, I extend my gratitude to all the viewers that they are with us, okay, from the beginning to the end. I extend a gratitude to all of you. Thank you very much. And I would like to
Thank you
request
very
Professor
much.
Dr. Okay,
Thank
Dr.
you
Das
very
to
much.
write the session.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Nahana.
Thank you so much.
One thing you said very nicely. Actually, the conflict takes place because of the misunderstanding of religious scriptures. Professor Balmik also said that, for example, the concept of a jihad, or a concept of a dharma judh, and many concepts are there in religion which are misunderstood. And out of that misunderstanding, they fix their morality. First, they misunderstood the scripture, and out of that misunderstanding, they wrongly fix the ethical codes, ethical prescriptions in a particular religion. Therefore, now we need interreligious dialogues. That if I am a Hindu, I should be well versed in Quran and Christianity and other religious scriptures only because of having a comprehensive idea. And we should go through the scriptures very rationally. So we should also speak against the interpretations, wrong interpretations. That is the goal of saying that religion is value neutral. Let us make it zero. Let us think it is zero and go through the proper understanding of the scriptures. That is the neutral mind that we should have. Otherwise, we shall remain dogmatic. And being that neutral is the sign of spirituality. That means I don't believe, I am being a Hindu, I am not a Hindu. This should be the attitude. And I have respect for all religions. I have no problem with any religion. This is the sign of spirituality. That means spirituality is common to all religions. Spirituality is not the cup of tea of a particular religion, that only Hindus are spiritual. No. Spirituality means we are neutral. We have no religion, or we transcend all religions. We take value as value. Value is not conditioned to any particular religion. That may be because that may be posed according to its understanding or misunderstanding. Maybe. Thank you. With this, we are really grateful because such type of topics should be initiated for discussion. Otherwise, we cannot be critical. We cannot be open-minded. Otherwise, we shall remain as dogmatic professors. Whatever we have learned in the classroom and that we are continuing. No, we should come forward and arguments will be, if arguments are natural, dialectical understanding is natural, criticism is natural, and that is value neutral. If we accept criticism, that means we are neutral. It is only just a play, it is just a game. Thank you. With that spirit, we shall end this session and we shall meet again
Thank you so
next
much.
Sunday.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
madam. You defended your case so nicely, and you fought.